Are we rolling? No, that's for the video's sake. Hi, my name is Stanley, and I'm making this for employees who are going to be participating in the 9-ball tournament. However, this is going to be posted on YouTube, so I guess more people than that can see. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to show you quickly how to lag for the break, and then I'm going to go over briefly the rules of 9-ball, including rules about like push out and things like that. So first off, lag for the break. This is when you're deciding who's going to break if you don't want to flip a coin. Basically what will happen is that you'll stand by the rack, wherever it is, and one person will be on either side. So I have one person shooting one ball, one shooting the other. What you're trying to do is shoot the far rail and have the ball come back, and whoever's closest to the rear bumper gets the break. So for example, so a couple of things on the lag. You notice my ball stopped right here, just shy of this rail. So that's my distance. So the other person would have to beat me on that distance. It is okay if the ball hits the rail and bounces back. It's still the person who's closer to the rail. Some things that will automatically disqualify you. One, if your ball sits in a pocket, like this, it's behind the rail, that's not legitimate. Two, if it falls in a pocket. Three, if it strikes that rail a second time. Or four, if it drifts into the other person's lane. Any of those things are disqualifications in a lag, and if the other person's lag is legal, then they get the break. Whoever wins the lag doesn't have to break, but they get to choose who is breaking, themselves or their opponents. Now, a proper 9-ball rack, getting into it, it's a diamond shape, and there's only two things that matter. One, that the number 1 ball is at the top of the rack, and two, that the 9-ball is in the middle. They do make diamond-shaped 9-ball racks. I like to use a triangle because I use these 3 fingers to tighten the rack. I roll it a few times to let the ball settle, and you place the 1 ball right at the top of what's called the foot spot. So once you get this racked up, then it's ready for the break. I know I made a little bump there.
The 4 moved a little.
Yeah, so quick, legal break. This right here, this is called the head strip, and this is the head of the table. You're allowed to put the cue ball anywhere you want behind the head string, or what they call in the kitchen. So, just like 8-ball, if you sink a ball, like I just did here, that's a legal break, and it remains your turn. If you did not sink a ball, then you forfeit your turn to your opponent. Now, the object of the game, I'm going to say right off the bat, is all about this ball. It's all about the 9-ball. People will often say that the object of 9-ball is to sink the balls in order. This is technically inaccurate. The catch with 9-ball is that when you shoot, the cue ball has to make contact with the lowest numbered ball on the table first, which in this case is still the 1 ball. Got the 1, 2, 3, the 4 pocketed over here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So people will often think I have to sink those balls in that order. But if you could do some fancy combination shot, where you put the cue ball into the 1 ball, the 1 ball into the 9-ball, and the 9-ball in the pocket, then that's a win. 9-ball is always slop. You don't ever have to call anything. That's very important to know. You never have to call a shot, even the 9-ball shot. Another rule is the only time you'll ever bring a ball back into play is the 9-ball. In 9-ball, if the 9-ball is prematurely driven off the table, then it's spot right here on the foot spot, and the game continues. If the 9-ball goes down, but then the cue ball scratches, that is a table foul. 9-ball again is spotted on the foot spot, and it's ball in hand to your opponent. This whole game is ball in hand. You never have to play a foul from the kitchen. A foul is important to note. What constitutes a foul? If a ball is driven off the table, that's a foul. If the cue ball is pocketed, that's a scratch or a foul. And now the other thing to note is that the cue ball has to first make contact with the lowest numbered ball on the table. And then any ball, including the cue ball, has to hit a rail, or one of the object balls have to fall in the pocket. So like right now, if I were to shoot the cue ball into the one ball, and then no balls made contact with the rail or fell into a pocket, that would be a scratch or that'd be a table foul, and it's ball in hand to your opponent. Important to note, 3 consecutive fouls in 9-ball is an automatic loss. And it's polite of your opponent to remind you when you get to 2. So if you foul twice, your opponent should remind you that you're at 2, and a 3rd foul is a loss. So you saw me break, so I'm going to describe what's called the push-out rule. The push-out rule is the first shot only after the break. Doesn't matter whose turn it is. So if you broke and you dropped something, you have the option to call push or push-out. If your opponent gets to the table like you broke but nothing sunk, then he or she has the option to call push. Now what the push-out rule is this. So I broke, I sunk the 4 ball in the side pocket, so I'm looking at the table, and let's say hypothetically, the 5 ball got in between the cue ball and the 1 ball. Well, if I try to shoot this on a regular shot, then I'm only going to hit it if I come off the rail or something like that. And I don't like the odds, and even if I hit it, I might not set myself up for a good shot. So the push-out rule is this. Whoever gets the first shot after the break can call push. Shoot anything they want without any fear of a table foul. So I don't have to drive the ball to a rail. I don't have to drop a ball in the pocket. I can shoot whatever I want. So I'm calling push, and I hit like that. So I touched the 2, but nothing hit a rail. Technically, that would be a foul. But in this case, since I pushed, my opponent then gets to come up and look at the table and says, you know what? I could probably hit the 1 ball, but the 2 is close enough that I can't cut it the way I want to. Go ahead and shoot again. Or he might say, you know what? The cue ball is a good angle. I think I can hit that, so I'm going to play it. So that's how push works. So there's no foul involved on that first shot after the break. But the person whose turn it is, they call push. They shoot anything they want. And of course, if the cue ball were to fall in the pocket, that would be a scratch. And then again, the next person get to keep the table and the ball in hand in the same turn. But as long as the cue ball remains in play, then the opponent who did not push simply gets to say, I like that shot, I'm going to shoot it, or I don't like that shot, you shoot again. And then either way, there's no ball in hand at that point. But then after that, regular scratch-out rules apply. So that's pretty much it. The object is to sink the 9-ball. It doesn't matter how you sink the 9-ball, as long as there was no scratch, no table foul. Yeah, so if you can combo the 1 into the 9 into the corner, beautiful, you won. That's it. So I hope this helps everyone out. So we covered lag, we covered racking, we've covered the object of the game and the push-out rule, and 3 consecutive fouls. And it has to be consecutive, not just 3 fouls in the game. 3 consecutive fouls is the loss. So good luck and good shooting to everyone.